Welcome back to the video series as part of the Southeast Kentucky Chamber Work Ethic Program. Congratulations, and once again, I'm excited that you have decided to invest in yourselves and invest in this program, which will really help you. In a previous video, we talked about work ethic. We talked about the importance of being passionate about what we do. We talked about being resilient. We talked about integrity. We talked about learning to be disciplined, and we talked about excellence. So that is the foundational part of work ethic. But one of the second things that I think that we do as part of this work ethic is become leaders. We become leaders. So the very first thing that I would ask people is, what is leadership? And how do we define leadership? Leadership is really the ability of an individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization. I don't think there is any part of an organization or any part of your life that leadership does not affect. Whether it's leadership of yourself, whether it's leadership of others, whether it's leadership of leaders, it applies to everything. A strong leadership is at the heart of every sizable achievement, and it always has been. John Maxwell, he says it very well when he says everything rises or falls with leadership. So when we think about leadership and we think back about leaders, there is a common question that arises frequently. And this question is simply, are leaders born or are they made? Now, of course, they're all born, but not necessarily born leaders. Although it is true that some people are born with great natural gifts, maybe greater natural gifts than others, the ability to lead is really a collection of skills, nearly all of which can be learned and improved. And that's part of this work ethic program that you're participating in. It is to help you learn skills, to learn things that can help you in furthering your careers, furthering your future, achieving your goals, and becoming what you would want to become. So leadership can be learned. It's absolutely a learnable skill. One of the studies in Psychology Today says that several studies show that 1/3 of leaders are born, but 2/3 are made. We're all born with different God-given talents, but talent is not enough. Talent does not equal results. Otherwise, all successful people would be talented, and they're not. And all unsuccessful people would be untalented. Once again, they're not. You can know from your own observations that this is not true. If you observe, you're going to see some talented people who just don't seem to get the results they deserve. But also, as you observe, you're going to see some very successful people that you're wondering, how in the world did they get there? They don't really have the talent. So when we think about talent, talent will help. Absolutely, it will help. But it's not enough on its own. Something else is needed. And the catalyst necessary to crystallize potential into results is leadership. I often say when I'm speaking to sports teams, and I get opportunity to speak at a lot of the schools, is hustle will beat talent every time when talent doesn't hustle. So you can have talent, but if you're not utilizing that talent, you're not developing that talent, and you're not putting forth effort in it, someone can out-hustle you. The same is true with leadership. People may have the God-given abilities, they may have the talent, but if you work hard enough, leadership is absolutely a learnable skill. It's something that you can learn, it's something that you can grow, it's something you can improve. John Maxwell also says that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing else. When I think about leaders, leaders really lead by example. A leader is one who knows the way, but also goes the way and shows the way. So when we think about leadership, our actions will always speak louder than our words. And if Maxwell is correct when he says leadership is influence, we influence people by our actions and by our words. And if our words and our actions do not match up, all of a sudden they're going to lose confidence in us. But when you think about leadership, it is developable, but it is developed daily, not in a day. We live in a fast-paced society. We live in a society that we want everything and we want it now. If we have to sit in the McDonald's drive-thru for 30 seconds before they ask for our order, or if we have to wait too long, we get frustrated, we get aggravated. When the stoplight turns red, it seems like forever before it gives us the green to go. We have to realize that leadership is not something that's going to happen overnight. It is not something that's going to happen very quickly. Leadership is not developed in a day. It is developed daily. We can't wait, though, to develop our leadership skills. We need to start right now, before the opportunity appears. You are getting a head start on this by being part of this program here still in your high school year, your senior year of high school. Participating in the Southeast Kentucky Chamber's work ethic program is giving you a head start, because you're not waiting to develop those skills. You've already probably developed some skills and you're enhancing and increasing those skills now. If you wait for the opportunity to start the process, it's gone before you begun. The great coach John Wooden, if you're into sports, you've probably heard that name. He said it best when he said, once the opportunity arrives, it's too late to prepare. I see so many people that say, I always miss the opportunity. The opportunity always shows up and I miss it. It's the reason we miss opportunities is because we wait to prepare when it shows up instead of preparing before it shows up. It's an old saying, but it's every bit as true today as it always has been. Success occurs when preparation meets opportunity. To be a great leader, you need to put forth effort. The more effort you put forth, the greater leader you will be. I heard a story many years ago of a woman who sat in an audience and she watched an expert pianist play a concert. And afterwards, she went up to speak to her and said, I would give anything to play like you. And the pianist looked at her and said, no, you wouldn't. Or you would already have done it. Sure, you would give anything except 8 hours of practice a day for 20 years. Anything except for getting up early or staying late. Anything but playing until your fingertips are raw, until they hurt just to touch the keys. You would give anything apart from that. If you gave what I've given, then you could play pretty much as well as I do, maybe a little less, maybe even better, but pretty much the same. When we stop and think about it, even the athletes that we watch competing, we see them and we're amazed at the abilities that they have. The ones that aspire on from high school on to college and on to the professional level. As we watch them and we see the evidence firsthand, we look at them and it's easy to misunderstand what we're actually seeing. Because when we see a world-class champion athlete doing their thing, the first thing that comes to our mind is, aren't they talented? Aren't they just gifted and aren't they talented? They are gifted and they are talented. But often people will make very little acknowledgement of the years of training that goes into the short performance you see on the world stage. When you think about the countless hours that they got up before daylight when others were sleeping, the countless hours that they stayed up late when others were out doing recreational or doing fun things, the sacrifices that they made to get to where they're at, we just see them under the spotlight. But it's what's done behind. It's what's done in the darkness of the night. It's what's done before other people wake up. It's what's done after other people go to bed that hones that talent. Talent helps, but you have to put forth the effort. Once again, going back to the work ethic. So when I ask you the question, are leaders born or are they made? Every one of us are born, but the studies show that 2/3 of leaders are made. They're made by putting forth effort. They're made by honing the God-gifted talents and abilities that they have and utilizing them. So what are some areas that we can put forth to develop our leadership abilities? I want to share just a few things with you in this video, and we're just going to hit the highlight. I do an in-depth study on each one of these, but I just want to give you 3 foundational things that you can do to begin to become a great leader. First and foremost, great leaders develop themselves, then develop others. If you've ever had the opportunity to fly on a plane, one of the things that you'll hear at the beginning of the flight is, in the event of a cabin depressurization, an oxygen mask will fall from above. Before you help others, put your mask on first, then assist others with helping theirs. They're saying before you can help others, you must first help yourself. Before you can lead others, you must first learn to lead yourself. Leaders are learners. Great leaders are always working to make themselves better. They're learning, they're growing, learning new skills, trying new things, exploring different opportunities. And that's exactly what you're doing being part of this program. You're learning new skills. You're developing yourself. You're making yourself better. You're making yourself, giving yourself more abilities so when the opportunity arises, you're stepping up. So great leaders start developing themselves. It's hard to pour out of an empty vessel. It's hard to pour out. So you must first pour into yourself. And part of this work ethic program is pouring into yourself. Then what great leaders do after they've poured into themselves, after they've learned new things, new skills, explored new opportunities, they take what they have learned and start sharing it to help others grow. They first put on their oxygen mask, and then once they're stable and they're good, then they're able to help other people put their on. So as we look at great leaders, they build themselves. They develop themselves. Leaders are learners. The second foundational thing that great leaders do is great leaders build winning relationships. Everything in life is about relationships. You must know how to relate and communicate with others. There is an analogy of the turtle on a fence post along the country road. I don't know exactly where it came from, but I've seen it many times and refer to it often, that if you're driving down the road and you see a turtle sitting on top of a fence post, the question is, how did a turtle get on the fence post? The turtle did not get there by themselves. Someone helped them there. Great leaders learn the need of other people and the value of relationships. Great leaders learn that it's not about us. It's not about what we can do on our own. It's what we can do together. Zig Ziglar summed it up nicely when he said, you can have all you want in life if you will help enough other people get what they want. Leadership is about developing yourself. Leadership is about building great relationships. It's adding values to others. There's a great thing that is out about servant leadership. And if you search servant leadership, you'll find a lot of things on the internet about servant leadership. But servant leadership is actually leading from the perspective of helping other people be the best that they can be. And by helping them be the best they can be, you become the best you can be. Once again, it's about building winning relationships. Third, great leaders are goal setters. Great leaders realize the concept of goal setting and achievement. One of the most important things that I've probably done early in my life that I did not even know was I learned to set goals. I learned to see things that I would love to achieve, things I would like to have, and I would set that goal. To be successful in life, to be successful in leadership, you got to have goals. And you have to be working towards achieving something. What is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to have? Great leaders learn to set goals. They learn to set goals, and then they learn to start putting forth effort to achieve those. Once again, getting back to work ethic. They spend time on that. One of the things that I often ask people as I'm coaching and consulting with them, and they will come to me and say, well, Kevin, what do you think that you ought to do? And I've shared this with my kids so many times, and they'll come to me and they'll say, Dad, what should I do here? And I'll go back and say, what is your goal? And then when they tell me what their goal is, I will ask them the question, by doing what you're about to do, will it get you closer to achieving your goal or take you farther away from the goal that you want to achieve? Typically, they answer their own question. Now, you may decide it's going to take me a little farther away from my goal, but I really need this. I want to do this. This is going to be great. It's going to be fun. There's going to be other benefits. But you realize that by doing this, it's going to take you longer to achieve your goal. That's okay. But if you continually get sidetracked and you continue to get detoured, you're never going to achieve those goals. So once you set a goal, everything you do needs to be focused on, who do I need to know? What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? How do I achieve that goal? And then once you achieve that goal, it is a great feeling of fulfillment. But the greatest thing about achieving your goals is, and a great leader learns this, once you learn to set and achieve goals, as a leader, you start helping other people set and achieve their goals. That's what makes you a leader, because leadership is influence. So when you begin to develop yourself, now you can pour into others. You have influence. When you begin to build winning relationships, all of a sudden now you're pouring into others. You have influence. When you learn to set and achieve goals and you're able to share with other people how to do that, all of a sudden now you have influence. Leadership is influence. If you want to be a leader, the good news is you can do it. Everyone has the potential to be a leader. Let me encourage you, serve with pride in all you do. Regardless of our position, regardless of our title, regardless of our education, regardless of where we are from, leadership is about influence. There was a great book that I read early on because I got very frustrated early on in my career because it seemed like I didn't have the title, I didn't have the position, and I always felt like I couldn't lead. I couldn't be a leader because I wasn't given the position or I wasn't given the title. And I read a book, and I think the title was something, Leading When You're Not in Charge. And basically, you don't have to have a title and you don't have to have a position to lead. You just have to have influence. And I would almost guarantee if you would look around, if you look back over your school career, and I've watched it as I went through school, I've watched it watching my kids grow up, whether it be on a baseball field, whether it be in an academic meet, whether it be at, on a basketball court or a soccer field or a golf course, all of a sudden you see people who step up as leaders. They may not be the captain, they may not really have the voice, but all of a sudden people look at them, people follow them. Leadership is influence. Everyone has the opportunity to be a great leader. You have to put forth the effort, you have to have that desire, develop yourself, build winning relationships, set goals and achieve them. Align your dreams, chart your course, and navigate yourself to the purpose-filled life you were created to live.